112 years ago, the UP Board of Regents had a vision to develop their true firstborn college that will spearhead national development through agriculture. At the foot of Mount Makiling, Edwin B. Copeland, together with 7 faculty and 12 students, embarked on the journey to create the UP College of Agriculture, or UPCA. Through its 112 years of existence, the college has produced over 1,000 technologies and variety of plants and animals, 9 national scientists, over 30 outstanding young scientists, and more than 18,000 graduates contributing to agricultural development. UPCA, now College of Agriculture and Food Science, or CAFS, has been continuously contributing to nation building through its instruction, research, and extension function. A mere 10 years after establishment, the college was able to start breeding works with the production of sugarcane varieties with high productivity and resistance to Fiji and mosaic disease. In the 1920s, the importance of agriculture was intensified and UPCA was recognized as neighboring countries began sending their students to Los Baños because of the high quality of education. In the 1930s, breeds with superior characteristics such as the Burkhala pig, Los Baños Cantonese chicken, and Philippine cattle were developed. The 1960s was a fruitful decade for research. Makapuno, a coconut cultivar often made into a dessert, was pioneered and perfected. Meanwhile, the Dairy Training and Research Institute was the first in the country to freeze buffalo semen, paving the way for artificial insemination of local carabaos. Along with the establishment of UPLB in the 70s, the college received the prestigious Ramon Magsaysay Award for International Understanding, Asia's counterpart for the Nobel Peace Prize. In the same decade, the C4 plants were developed. The soil test kits were produced in support of the Masagana 99 program, and the mango induction technique was introduced. Continuing the production of quality research outputs in the 1980s, techniques to minimize post-harvest losses, the accelerated fish sauce manufacturing process, and the rapid test kit for the detection of pesticide residue on vegetables were developed. The 1990s saw many new varieties across species or crop types, including Sinta papaya, the first Philippine-bred hybrid, UPLB Gold, a durian variety, and Doña Amelita, a musaenda named after the wife of former President Fidel Ramos. The award-winning National Corn-Based Farmer Scientist RDE Training Program, or FSTP, was also established around this time and still remains as one of the university's primary extension programs. In the field of instruction, the book titled Integrating Sustainable Agriculture in the BSA Curriculum, the UPLB College of Agriculture Experience, was published in 1999. At present, the College of Agriculture and Food Science, or CAFS, continues to be the premier institution of higher learning in agriculture and food science, and remains committed to nation building through its instruction, research, and extension programs. In order to produce the best graduates, all of our courses are outcomes-based education, and continuous improvement of the curriculum is being practiced to meet the challenges of the 21st century. As testament of excellence, CAFS is constantly recognized by different organizations. In research, we continue to implement relevant studies with focus on the 12 priority commodities to address food security. Moreover, technologies are constantly developed to aid in responsible food production. Supplementing these are extension activities to disseminate the knowledge generated to improve food productivity and livelihood of the people. We believe that present technologies will future-proof our food systems. Some of our notable developments are IDTech, Coragenam, Plant Health and Pest Clinic, Pest Management Tools and Techniques, Smarter Pest Identification Technology or SpeedTech, Snap Hydroponics, Drone Technology, Rapid Immunofilter Assay for Virus Indexing, Nanofertilizers Fertigrow, Orbogrow, Nanobiosensors, and Biochar. We at the College of Agriculture and Food Science will continue to promote and nurture a culture with innovative yet conscientious minds and cutting-edge skills to lead and serve the country and the region. We are one college with one goal towards sustainable food systems.
UPLB students, know your intellectual property rights. Intellectual property refers to any creation of the human mind. Being UPLB students, you will definitely be on track in making your ideas work and become realities. It is therefore important to know that you, as well as the university, have rights that cover ownership of intellectual property. These intellectual property rights include copyright and related rights, trade and service marks, geographical indications, industrial designs, patents, layout designs or topographies of integrated circuit, protection of undisclosed information or trade secret, utility models, and others. In this presentation, you will be oriented on some rules that you should take to heart during your stay in the university. Students' theses and dissertations. A UPLB student should be aware that there are guidelines that govern these rights as applied to their thesis and dissertations. For example, a student owns the copyright to his or her thesis or dissertation. The student also automatically grants UP a non-exclusive, worldwide, royalty-free copyright license to reproduce, publish, and publicly distribute copies of theses or dissertation. Students, nonetheless, may request the non-disclosure and withholding of access to his or her thesis or dissertation if he or she will file applications for patent and protection of other IPRs related to the thesis or dissertation. The college, department, institute may also withhold public access to thesis or dissertation and the defense proceedings if the thesis or dissertation contains confidential and/or proprietary information on a patentable or registrable invention. In connection with these, thesis or dissertation of students now includes a one-page notice to UP libraries which contain instructions on whether the thesis or dissertation can be made accessible to the public or not. copyright infringement, and plagiarism. Students should exercise in due diligence then in accomplishing their academic requirements. Infringing copyrights is a criminal offense punishable by imprisonment, fines, or both. Make sure that when you use other written works, it is done fairly, meaning you use other works either for private, non-profit, academic and research, or information purposes. Never commit intellectual dishonesty. Always attribute and cite the use of other published works. Plagiarism in UPLB is an administrative disciplinary offense and can be punished by dismissal, expulsion from UPLB, or the withdrawal of a previously granted diploma. Intellectual dishonesty spells academic death. Proper use of registered UP trademarks. Always be mindful in using UP registered trademarks during your stay in the university. For example, the name University of the Philippines, the official logo of the University of the Philippines, the oblation, or any derivative of these marks are registered trademarks of the University of the Philippines. UP actively prosecutes any person or entity who commercially uses these trademarks without any licensing agreement duly approved by the university. Permits to commercially use UP registered trademarks can be obtained from the UPLB Center for Technology Transfer and Entrepreneurship, or CTTE. Among the other requirements are request form, Certificate of Recognition as a UP student organization, duly approved constitution of the organization, list of officers and faculty advisor, photocopy of student ID of the applicant or contact person, studies of design of merchandise to be licensed. For more information, please contact UPLB Center for Technology Transfer and Entrepreneurship, 2nd floor, UPLB CTTE Building, Science and Technology Park, College, Laguna 4031.
Yan, good afternoon everyone. Can I get a thumbs up po kung clear ang aking audio? Ayan. Thank you po for joining us for the second part of our webinar, Intellectual Property in Focus, presented by the Technology Transfer and Business Development Office in collaboration with the College of Agriculture and Food Science, University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Again, I am Elena May Cabarubias, and I will be your host this afternoon. Last week, we have tackled a wide variety of IP, including copyright, related rights, trademark, and geographical indications. And today, we're so excited to share with you the other types of intellectual properties. I'm sure mas magiging interested tayo sa lectures today. So last week, majority of our participants are researchers and students from different units of UPLB, and we also have participants from University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines and University of Antique. I hope nandito po ulit kayo. Ayan, thank you po sa pag-attend ng webinar series na ito, at we hope na marami po kayong matututunan. So the main objective of this webinar is to introduce the field of intellectual property among students, faculties, researchers, and staffs, and advance their capacity in technology transfer. Furthermore, the webinar aims to discuss the basics of intellectual property, the different types of intellectual property rights, its importance, and relevance to the field of agriculture. But before anything else, let's hear some words from the Dean of the College of Agriculture and Food Science, Dr. Elpidio Agbisit Jr., to deliver the opening remarks today. Hi, sir.
Do you hear me properly? Okay ba ang audio ko?
Yes po, sir.
Okay. Of course, to Dr. Leah M. Fernando Corpus, the Associate Dean for Research and Extension and head of this IP webinar for students, to the Director of the Technology Transfer Business Development Office, Dr. Emil John Cabrera, our ever reliable partner, to the organizers of this activity, from the men and women of CAPS and TTBDO, to all the faculty, staff, and students, our beloved Aggies present today, a blessed and productive afternoon to all. On behalf of the College of Agriculture and Food Science, I wish to welcome you to the second installment of this IP webinar series. This webinar aims to equip all participants with the basic knowledge on intellectual property and understand the importance of technology transfer in bridging the gap between research and commercialization. Here at the college, we have a lot of research outputs for commercialization, and with you being forerunners of Philippine agriculture, for sure, you will have an idea or a product of research in the future that you will want to commercialize. This webinar is one step of protecting our intellectual property, at the same time to guide you to the right path of ensuring that the knowledge you have generated will reach a wider range of stakeholders. For this year, we have done several capacity building on intellectual property for faculty and staff, and now it is your time to be informed and capacitated. With the rise of startups managed by young generations, this can be a great step to open your horizons to be agripreneurs of your own inventions. I hope that you will use this opportunity to learn a lot of things and be ripples of change this society needs. May all your dreams and aspirations come true. Hiraya Manawari to everyone. Good afternoon.
Thank you po din, please, for the opening message. Let's have a quick photo opportunity po muna. May I request everyone to open their camera.
Okay po. 1, 2, 3. Isa pa po. Smile lang po tayo. 1, 2, 3. Thank you po.
Thank you, Ms. Arian. A few reminders lang po. Uh, Before we start, the webinar will be recorded for documentation purposes. Kindly fill out the attendance sheet to be distributed at the start of the webinar. There will be a Q&A session after the lectures. Only those who will finish the webinar, answer the feedback form, and get 70% at the post-evaluation will be given certificates. So at the end of this webinar, baka maging IP experts na tayong lahat, no? At sa mga researchers, students natin, may idea na kayo kung ano yung mga intellectual property rights na pwede natin apply sa mga creations natin. Ayan, mukhang ready na ang ating mga participants. So, to introduce our speaker, she is a DOST Accelerated Science and Technology Human Resource Development Program Scholar, a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Agricultural Biotechnology and Master of Science in Molecular Biology and Biotechnology from the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. She is experienced in the field of plant biotechnology, tied back her experience since 2013 as a project assistant of BT Talong Project and as a molecular biologist at the International Rice Research Institute. Currently, she is a University Extension Specialist of the Intellectual Property Unit of the UPLB Technology Transfer and Business Development Office. She is an expert in facilitating the overall management of various intellectual properties in the university. Let's welcome Ms. Melanie Cabangban.
And good afternoon, everyone. So, siguro I want to check my audio if it is working properly. So, okay lang pa-check ko. I mean, thumbs up na lang or raise hand if the audio is working properly. Ayan, thank you. Let me share my screen. Ayan. So, for this afternoon, I will be continuing our the part 2 of our webinar series on IP in Focus, learning the basics of intellectual property. So I will be sharing with you this afternoon the inventions, which are the patent, utility model, industrial design, trade secrets, layout designs, and also the plant variety protection. Okay, so let's start. So you already have an idea on the first part or the first batch of the intellectual properties discussed by Ms. Arian last week, which are the copyright and related rights, trademarks, and service marks, and also the GIs. So for this afternoon, so let me start my presentation on patents. So let us discuss first the patent. So what is a patent? So it is a set of exclusive rights granted by a sovereign state to an inventor or assignee for a limited period of time. So in exchange for public disclosure of the invention, and patent's validity is 20 years from the filing date of the invention. So patents are one of the oldest forms of intellectual property protection. And these exclusive rights are governed by the Republic Act 8293, which is the Intellectual Property Code of the Philippines, which is known as the IP Code of the Philippines. And Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines, or the IPOPHIL naman, is the government agency mandated to protect these exclusive rights, which are given to our scientists, inventors, and even, of course, yung mga gifted citizens natin here in the Philippines. So patents have limitation. Okay, so for patents, it is time-bound. So paano ba pag sinabing time-bound, di ba? So patents have a duration of 20 years and it may be lapsed before the end of the year 20 term. And it may be also revoked or of course invalidated. And if it is lapsed, then it is included in the public domain. It is also fee dependent, so meaning It has filing fees, it has examination fees. Of course, it also has maintenance fees. So we have to maintain our inventions or patents to avoid lapsing of the protection. And if hindi tayo nakabayad ng maintenance fees natin, it will enter the public domain, and once it enters the public domain, so anyone can commercially exploit our invention without infringing the patent in the country concerned. So kung saan siya protected, so pwede siyang ma-exploit if wala na yung protection niya. And of course, patents are territorial. So meaning it is, or your invention is only protected where the protection is being filed or granted. Okay, so ano ba yung mga patentable inventions natin, di ba? So any invention, of course, can be applied for IP protection, such as patent in any field of technology. Syempre, as long as papasok siya doon sa requirements ng patentability. So these are just some examples of patentable inventions. So una is mechanical, chemical, or computer implemented inventions. So let's try to extract each inventions dito, and let's try to check some examples. Ayan. So first, let us discuss the mechanical inventions. So it is any apparatus having a new combination of features that have not been put together before, or any process that includes a series of steps never done together, and which of course offer benefits. So usually different parts of an invention, they are put together, and then we can file for protection. So an example here is a seedling transplanting machine. So ito ay invention from Japan. So this is a seedling transplanting machine for agricultural fields. And it is used for the maintenance operation of transmission mechanism, and the components exchange operation can be performed easily. And if the operation efficiency and maintainability. So meron silang mga pinagbubuo or pinagdikit-dikit na parts to produce or to come up with this machine. So meron silang mga transmission shaft, rotation portion, mga transmission belt. So again, they put together to have this transplanting machine. So this is patent granted from Japan. Ay, sorry, hindi pala nag-work. Ito po. Ayan. So this is the seed transplanting machine po. Ayan. Okay, so for the chemical invention naman, so it is a product or process or improvements thereof. So this provides a new way of doing something or offers a new technical solution to a problem. And one example is from biotech by Dr. Virginia M. Padilla, which is Nutrio. So Nutrio is a naturally derived foliar fertilizer made for eggplants and sugarcane. So yung ginagawa po ng Nutrio, so it improves the nitrogen fixation in plants through microorganism isolates. And yung microorganism isolates are the ones that are protected by patent. So it is organic, it is an organic fertilizer, and it offers a more environment-friendly solution to the use of chemical fertilizers. And also kasi the eggplants and sugar canes require a large amount of inorganic fertilizers to attain high yield. So ayan. Another example is Natura Grow. Dun to sa agricultural kay Dr. Calub, po ito, ayan. So Natura Grow, so we have filed for Cacahuate microbial inoculant. So it is a formulation of microbial inoculant from cacahuate. together with other plant extracts like from ipil-ipil, gmelina, and paper mulberry. And this is used and also this aims to achieve higher organic vegetable productivity and profitability by hastening the germination of vegetables and fruit crops. So for the computer implemented inventions naman, so these are processes, products, or both that includes computers, computer networks, or other programmable apparatus. So one good example here is the mobile internet access. Yes, yung Wi-Fi po or yung internet access is protected by patent. And the protected or the claims here in the mobile internet access is the 3G, which is connected the cell phones to GPS and the internet. And also yung paggamit po ng mga video calling and streaming using handheld device. So usually po, for the computer implemented invention, so these are can be patented if the invention is the program is cooperatively working with a tangible device. So which like a programmable device like a computer, cell phones. So ayun po ang ating computer implemented invention. Okay, so invention must clearly recite features serving the purpose of providing a technical solution to a problem. So usually when we file for patent or we file for IP protection of our invention, we are trying to identify a problem or a specific problem, and then our invention will be the technical solution to that specific problem. So mainly on the mechanical, the chemical, and even for the computer implemented inventions, ganun po usually yung requirements in order for our invention to be patentable. So a computer program involved in an implementation, such as a program-controlled machines, program-controlled manufacturing, and controlled processes is patentable. So yung mere idea po na gusto natin is not patentable, but dapat po is it can be a technical solution to a specific problem. So ito po, it will be considered patentable if the computer implemented invention meets the criteria for patent protection. Okay, so one good example din po is sa Facebook. I think we are all familiar with Facebook. So Facebook patented a network architecture for implementing the secure ID login to an application. And also, instead of application, Facebook opted po to protect or to patent yung mga novel features rather than the entire mobile app. So maraming features po yung Facebook. So yun yung mga pinoprotect nila instead of the application itself. Yeah. So one UPLB computer implemented invention that we have right now is the Banatech. So it is a system computer implemented method and computer program product for banana harvest date and yield prediction. So this is, I think this is a project or an invention from iCrops and in collaboration with, I think, Sesame and different units dito sa UPLB. So Banatech is a digital platform that uses image-based description that can forecast the putative harvest dates of Lakatan and Sabah or Cardaba bananas. And this is based on their distinct morpho-developmental changes from bunch emergence to harvest. So using this device po, the user or the farmer can predict the number of harvestable bunches at a given time. So what is good also to this application is this application supports data persistence, which means that it can be downloaded on the mobile devices and it can run without internet connection. So, diba? So even if you don't have access, so as long as you have downloaded it, then the farmer can use the app. Ayan. So inventions on biotechnology. So I think our mga geneticists or molecular biologists or molecular biotechnologists are all familiar with this invention. So this is patented on the patent name CRISPR-Cas systems and methods for altering expression of gene products. So this is a gene editing tool at the University of California, which makes specific changes to the DNA of a cell or organism. So researchers, of course, can use this CRISPR-Cas9 tool to create plants with specific and desired traits. And this CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing tool can alter, right, the plant DNA sequences, which can be known to be related to particular traits. Of course, in order to breed plants with desired traits. Diba? So mga plant breeding, mga plant breeders din po natin. Ayan. So one UPLB invention din po is the Cacao Nano Biosensor or the Alert Plant Pathogen Test Kit by Ma'am Leah and team. So yan, congratulations Ma'am Leah. So we have just received the notice of allowance for their patent or for their invention. So this is the Cacao Nano Biosensor detection system, which is used for electrochemical detection of the causal pathogen of black pod rot of cacao and also the vascular streak dieback of cacao. So okay, we have already discussed a number or various examples of patentable invention. So what are the criteria naman for patentability? So first, of course, our invention must be new or novel. Paano ba pag sinabing new? Paano ba pag sinabing novel? Of course, our invention must show an element of novelty, meaning there is some new characteristic which is not known in the body of existing knowledge in its technical field. Yung body of existing knowledge is also called the prior art. So, bago, kumbaga, merong bago dun sa ating invention. Next, it must involve an inventive step. Inventive step meaning dapat hindi siya or wala siyang obviousness. Kumbaga, hindi siya obvious, lalo na dun sa mga person skilled in the art. Ayan, so hindi siya madaling gayahin. And of course, it must be industrially applicable or useful. So it must have or it must be capable of industrial application. So meaning, it is capable of being used for an industrial or business purposes. So in order to file for a patent or to grant for a patent, to have grant, so it must be new, inventive, and industrially applicable. Ayan. So what is the purpose of a patent naman, diba? So of course, to protect the inventions of our researchers and scientists, diba? So we give credits to where credit is due, and syempre ayaw natin din that some individual will exploit our work. Next is to provide incentives to develop and improve technologies. So these incentives are given to our inventors or scientists through royalties. So for example, each time we buy an item which is patented or protected, a part of what we pay goes back to the owner as a recompense of the time, the money, and effort, and the thought of the inventors dun sa pagpuput nila to create such works. So yung incentives po na nabibigay natin sa kanila is or through royalties. And to contribute to dissemination of new technological knowledge to the public. The patent system accelerates the technological development by offering the possibility of material reward to an inventor, and also it facilitates the spread of new technological knowledge to the public. So when we file for protection, you are disclosing your invention to the public. And this will allow other inventors or other scientists to be informed of kung ano na ba yung current trend ng mga technologies na meron ngayon. For example, here in the Philippines, na wala pa sa ibang bansa and vice versa. And of course, to create new jobs. Diba? So if you're gonna do your own spin-off company, then you try to get or to offer new jobs dun sa mga technical people that can help you to the success of your company. So what are the rights of a patent holder? So you have already your patent, it is granted already, then you will have the exclusive negative rights. So you have the right to exclude others from exploiting. So paano ba pag sinabing exploiting? So the selling, making, using, and commercializing your invention. So meaning, pinagkakakitaan nila yung invention mo without your permission. And also, yung property rights. So unlike like any other properties, patent or the IPs can also can be also assigned, sold, or even to license a patent through agreements. And of course, as an inventor, as the owner of a work or a creation, you have the right to enforce your rights within the country that granted the patent. So because patent is territorial. So okay, if we have patentable inventions, we also have exclusions for patentability. So what are these exclusions? So the scientific theories or mathematical methods and commercial or business methods are not patentable. So if it is a mere idea, just a mere idea, we cannot patent it or we cannot file for protection unless we will do some application for that specific method that can resolve or that can be a technical solution to a specific problem. Diagnostic, therapeutic, and surgical methods for the treatment of humans or animals. So for example po yung process on heart surgery. Diba? Imagine if we will protect that process, diba? So hindi lahat nakaka-access dun sa process na yon. But if you have a specific, for example, a scissor or a knife na bago para dun sa paggamit mo sa heart surgery, and that's something is or can be patented. So, diba? As long as papasok siya sa requirements ng patentability, which are new, inventive, and industrially applicable. So plant or animal varieties are not patentable. So we have plant variety protection for this one. Aesthetic creations. So we have industrial design. And computer programs. So for computer programs, some computer programs or the computer programs can be protected by copyright. But yun nga, once if the computer program is cooperatively working with a hard device, then we can protect it through a computer implemented invention. Of course, anything contrary to public order and morality, new invention but can be easily conceived by others. And of course, invention that already exists. Ayan. So, yan po yung mga excluded for patent application. So, patent as a right, the claims define the scope of protection. So, sa mga researchers natin, to all our scientists, we always ask of, or we try to review, we assess the invention na ano ba yung pwede natin or what are the scope of protection that we can file dito sa IPO field. So usually we can file ng product lang, pwede din na process or pwede din ang both. So yun yung ginagawa namin na as long or yung mga technical description ng invention natin is we always ask that to our from our inventors to check baka kasi kaya natin ma-widen or to strengthen yung patentability ng work natin. And of course, in most countries, patents are granted under a substantive examination system. So tulad din dito sa Philippines, so meron din mga series of examinations na pinagdadaanan yung ating mga filings. Ayan. So again, patent protection is granted and it is generally protected for 20 years from the filing or the filing date of application, and it is subject to payment of maintenance fees. Yeah. So what is the application process of patent? So first, the invention disclosure. So it is a document written by the inventor which provides a detailed description of their invention to determine whether the invention can be applied for an IP protection. So dito po, so we ask for from our inventors to fill out 3 forms lagi. So the invention disclosure form, the deed of assignment that you are assigning the University of the Philippines Los Baños as the owner of the technology, but the inventorship remains to the inventors or to our scientists, and the inventors royalty sharing scheme na especially kapag pumasok ng commercialization yung ating technology. So yeah. So yung mga doon natin malalaman yung royalties or percentage which will be given to our inventors. So next, we will evaluate the Technology Transfer Office and Business Development Office will evaluate the documents na pinasa ng ating inventors, and then we will assess the invention. So how are we gonna assess the invention? So we will conduct the prior art. So prior art search, so gagawin natin yung prior art search to determine if our invention is patentable and if pasok siya sa requirements ng patent. And of course, after assessment, we will do the patent drafting. So it is if the invention is eligible for patent application, so based dun sa result ng PAS, so we will recommend for patent application as we evaluate the documents submitted. And of course, next is the filing of patents sa IPOPHL. So once all the documents are complete, so us here in the Technology Transfer Office will be the one who will facilitate the filing of these IPs such as the patent, UMs, at sa IPOPHL. Okay, so after patent, let's go for the utility model naman. So in general, utility models are considered particularly suited for protecting inventions that make small improvements or also adaptations of existing products which have short commercial life. So yung utility model kasi, it provides protection of so-called minor inventions. Ayan. So same as patent, the criteria for qualification is novelty and industrial applicable. So hindi or nabawasan lang ng isa, which is inventive. And the period of protection ng utility model natin is 7 years. So ano nga ba yung mga bagay or what are the things can be protected under utility model? So like patent, we can file or we can protect product, process, composition, or improvement of any of the above. So yung patent, we can file or we can protect product and process at the same time. For the utility model, we can file one at a time. So we can file or we can protect for product or either a process. Okay. Okay, so here is an example of UPLB utility model. So it is a pyrolytic cook stove from CAPS again, of course. So yung most cook stoves available in the market kasi are producing much energy and charcoal, which are very inefficient. And also, yung smoke is usually coming kasi from the tube of the vent sa homes natin instead of outdoors, which causes health problems. And also, yung fuel kasi is also wasted as heat. So, yung scientist natin or inventor, sina Ma'am Panga, was able to develop a cook stove that reduces health impacts, which is the pyrolytic cook stove. So their cook stove decreases smoke emission through clean burning of feedstocks. And also, this produces biochar as soil amendment. Diba? So i-compare natin dun sa common cook stove kasi there is a development or improvement of cook stove. So this one naman is a UPLB mechanical utility model. So this is the pili nut cracker. Again, this is from CAPS. From SEAT, sorry. This is by Sir Gallegos. So it is the pili nut cracker. It is wherein a cracking mechanism for cracking of pili nuts. So sabi, it was stated that this pili nut cracker is safer, faster and more efficient way of extracting the kernels from the shell. Ayan. So this one pala is the utility model from CAPS. Ito po yan. So the Bignay powder by Dr. Florendo Flores. So the Bignay powder, so it describes a spray dried fruit bioactive powder and its process from Bignay. So this is used as a food ingredient in processing products with increased anthocyanins and bioactive content. Ayan. Sobrang creative ng mga scientists natin here in the university. Ayan. So let's move on sa industrial design naman. So for the industrial design, it protects the ornamental or aesthetic aspect of an invention. In order for the industrial design to be registered, of course, it must be new and original. And it is protected for 5 years from the date of filing, and it is renewable for not more than 2 consecutive 5-year terms. So it has a total of 15 years of protection. So industrial design in a sense that it can be a three-dimensional, it has a three-dimensional features like yung mga shape, ganyan yung mga surfaces, or even two-dimensional features. So yung mga patterns, yung lines and colors. Ayan. So what can be protected by industrial design? So meron tayo mga luxury items, mga industrial and medical implements, houseware and furniture, textile designs, leisure items, and even graphical user interface. So what are the example of industrial design? So Mini Cooper. Yan. Mini Cooper, it is an original design which became a true British icon. Ayan. So it influenced a generation of car designers. And of course, the Coca-Cola contour bottle design or so it is the Coca-Cola contour bottle, which is of course recognized by millions across the globe siya, diba? So we are all familiar with this contour bottle ng Coca-Cola. And another classic example of industrial design registered invention is the Dyson Cyclone Vacuum. So in the 1970s, si James Dyson was inspired to make or inspired by an industrial cyclone system in a sawmill to develop a bagless vacuum cleaner. Ayan, so these are all industrial design registered. So here naman is an industrial design in caps again kay Dr. Flores. So it is the single screw extruder. So wherein you have or you want to form a material product through the use of a mold using heat and pressure. So the ornamental of the single screw extruder is protected by industrial design. Yeah. So why protect industrial design if it is just a design lang naman, di ba? So of course, like patents or like any other IP, so it helps obtain return of investment sa mga creators ng mga industrial designs. And also it provides exclusive rights, diba? And facilitates marketing and commercialization. So parang as nung nakita natin yung mga examples, 'di ba? It's like parang branding na. So yung design nila is parang yun na yung pinaka-branding ng product nila, right? Now once na makita nila, then we are all familiar agad or kilala na natin agad yung product na yon. And of course, revenue generated. Again, through royalties. So okay, let's try to just compare briefly yung patent and versus the industrial design. So for the patent and utility models, so they are protected with the technical, or they protect technical or functional features of an object. So usually on how a product works or a process. But for the industrial design naman, so it protects the appearance of an article or a work. So how a product looks like. Ayan. So here is the comparison or the matrix comparison of the three. So patent is protected by inventions. For UMI, minor inventions, while the industrial design is aesthetic feature. And of course, for the test, for patent, it must be novel, inventive, and industrially applicable. For utility model, so it must be novel and industrially applicable. And for the industrial design, it must be new and original. So protection is obtained as grant sa patent and registration naman for utility model and industrial design. And you can also see the difference or yung comparison ng duration of protection. So far, patent has the longest years of longest validity. So it's 20 years, for 7 years, and the industrial design is total or maximum of 15 years. So let's proceed with the trade secret naman. So trade secret, it is any plan, process, method, tool, formula, mechanism, compound, or confidential business information known only to its owner and employees. So of course, any proprietary, technical, or business information that is first secret. So not generally known in the trade. It is valuable to the competitors that they do not know the information, and it is subject to reasonable efforts in order to safeguard and maintain the information secrecy. So yun yung sa trade secret. And it makes the other IP stronger when combined with other IP rights. So for the trade secret, there is no registration, no forms to fill out. Diba? So siya lang yung walang forms tayo na pinifill upan. And yung protection ng trade secret is unlimited for unlimited period of time. So di ba amazing? But as long as makikip mo yung secret nung iyong invention. Di ba? So it is tsaka yung trade secret, it is protected unlimited period of time, no maintenance fees, no registration. So hindi din siya territorial, of course, and it is not expensive to maintain. So as long as makikip mo siya as a secret, so it is protected worldwide, diba? But yung trade secret kasi is you really have to safeguard your secret. Kasi wala siyang forms, so hindi siya protected ng document. So if your secret or the trade secret is known to the public, then they can protect it as their invention. So you don't have the right to use it anymore. So when to know or when to apply trade secret? So trade secret is not advisable for those na madaling ma-reverse engineer. So yung madaling malaman or madaling gawin ng person skilled in the art known or dun sa specific or technical field ng ating researcher or scientist. Okay, so for the trade secret, yun nga, as long as you keep it as a secret, as long as you will keep it or you will keep the secret, then it can be protected properly. And also, it is a protected property. Okay? So usually, yung mga trade secret is enforced by contracts, yung non-compete clauses in employee sa contracts. So yung mga CNDA. Ayan. So what are the examples ng trade secret? Diba? So since 1981, yung Coca-Cola company decided to keep the Coca-Cola syrup recipe as a trade secret. And yung Coke syrup recipe daw nila is nasa vault in Atlanta, wherein it is or it can be publicly displayed. And Coca-Cola vetoed of the idea of patenting the Coca-Cola syrup kasi they will disclose it to the public. So imagine if they patent the Coca-Cola syrup. So it is part of the public domain already. Kasi the term of protection is only 20 years. And 1981 pa nila pinoprotect yung trade secret nila. Okay? Same as the recipe of the Krispy Kreme donut. Ayan. So 70 years na din yung trade secret nila. Okay? And also, yung the owner of the KFC, si Colonel Sanders, siya lang daw yung nakakaalam nung 11 spice nung KFC, nung fried chicken. Ayan. And the formula of the WD-40, so it is also protected by trade secret. So, yun, yung mga trade secret are enforced by CNDA unless yung mga inventors lang yung nakakaalam nung ingredients, kumbaga, for example. So here in UPLB, we have BioN, it's a trade secret by Dr. Mercedes Umali Garcia from Biotech, and it is a microbial-based fertilizer derived from the isolation of bacteria from the roots of talahib. Ayan. So it is effective on rice and corn as it replaces around 30 to 50% of total nitrogen requirement of the plants. Also, I think we are all familiar, or we have the idea that our country still imports rice despite the production increase, right? So usually nag-import pa tayo from Vietnam, Thailand, India, China, and even from Singapore, among others. Diba? So also yung BioN, it also reduces incidence of rice tumor and corn earworm. And of course, it can replace like around 50% of the amount used of chemical fertilizers. And also, it increases yield, rice yield. Ayan. So, here's the matrix between a comparison between patent and trade secret. So, for patent, of course, it is protected with registration and it undergoes formalities and examinations. While the trade secret, it doesn't have any registration, so no process or no procedure to undergo. And for patent, it is protected for 20 years from the date of filing, while the trade secret is protected for an unlimited period of time as long as you will keep the secret of your invention. While next is the patent is protected no matter how public the information is or even if someone else know how to make your product. So because like, di ba, patent is, or when you apply a patent, so your invention is being disclosed to the public. So for the trade secret, it can be learned by looking at the product. So thus the trade secret protection is lost. So if your invention can be easily reverse engineered, so mababa yung chance, or it is not recommended for a trade secret. Okay. So for the layout designs or topographies, so these are for integrated circuits or electronic circuits in which all the components such as the transistors, diodes, resistors are assembled in a certain order on the surface of a thin semiconductor conductor material. So usually yung mga layout designs are commonly known as chips or yung mga microchips. So we don't have any layout designs protected or applied here in the Philippines yet. So for sure malalaman natin agad, or so we will be informing everyone if we have already. So for the layout designs pala, so layout designs can be protected for the maximum of 10 years and no chance of renewal. So next, for the plant variety protections or the Republic Act 9168, so it is a legal protection for new plant varieties which is new, distinct, uniform, and stable. And also, it seeks to acknowledge the achievements of breeders of new plant varieties. So the plant variety protection system provides an effective mechanism for the protection for breeders in both the public and private sectors, and of course to facilitate public and private partnerships. So when to apply plant variety protection? So as a breeder, so you can apply for plant variety protection, or you will get the certificate of plant variety protection for the varieties that are first new. So new meaning the propagating or the harvested material of the variety has not been sold or disposed to the public yet. So bago siya. Next is distinct. So it must have it must be clearly distinguishable from any other variety whose existence is a matter of common knowledge, diba? So dapat distinguishable siya. Next is uniform. So uniform, so it is, so makikita natin dun sa example natin, so it is sufficiently uniform in its relevant characteristics. So yung mga, for example, yung mga morphological characteristics nila, so like yung sizes, yung mga shape kapag during the harvest, so those are some importance to remember. And of course, so the varieties must be stable. Stable in terms of yung relevant characteristics remain unchanged after repeated propagation or at the end of each cycle ng mga varieties natin. So why we need new plant varieties? So of course, it is essential and sustainable means of achieving food security in the context of population growth and of course the climate change. Innovation in agriculture and horticulture is important for economic development with the high production of high quality fruits, vegetables, and even ornamentals that can provide higher income to our farmers and of course employment then to millions of people. And to minimize pressure on the natural environment. So you will have improved yield, increased tolerance on different environmental stresses, better adaptation on harsh climatic conditions. These are just some important features of new varieties, and which can increase the productivity and product quality in agriculture. So why do we need PVP? Of course, ayan. Okay, so we need PVP for successful breeding that requires great skill and knowledge. So the large-scale breeding ng mga new varieties, if ever, requires significant investment. For example, in land, specialized equipment, even skilled and scientific manpower of those or sa pagpe-prepare and pagpo-process ng mga varieties. So once released, a new variety can often be easily reproduced by others. Thus, the breeder who is responsible in making or creating that specific variety is deprived of the fair opportunity to benefit from his or her investment. So it is therefore critical to have or to provide an effective plant variety protection system to our breeders, so they will be encouraged for the development of these new varieties. And sustained and long-term breeding efforts are only worthwhile if there is a chance to be rewarded for the investment made. So this is to recover the cost of this research and development, and the breeder may seek his right for this new variety, diba? So, and also the breeders or our scientists can use also this yung mga investment or yung mga rewards for future funding or future works for improvement. So what are the scopes of the breeder's rights? So for the breeder, of course, this is the person who bred, discovered, or developed the variety. It is the person who is the employer of the aforementioned person or who has commissioned the latter's work, and the successor in the title or second aforementioned person. So usually the breeder are the creators or the inventors. So this protection system or the PVP system aims to give the owners of the plant varieties exclusive rights to control the production, the distribution, the marketing, the selling, and assure that the owners are well compensated for the cost of developing new varieties. So what are the rights of holders of plant variety protection? So it is the breeders or he has the right to authorize the production, the reproduction, the conditioning for the purpose of propagation, offering for sale, selling, or other marketing, exporting, importing, and stocking for any purpose. So like patent or like any other IPs. So also the breeders have these exclusive rights in using or in using properly their invention or their creation. Of course, we have exceptions also to plant variety protection. So what are these? So of course, acts done for non-commercial purposes, for experimental purposes, and for the purpose of breeding other varieties. So as long as it is not for commercial purposes, then it is exempted for the plant variety protection. Yeah. Okay. So again, yan. So for the term of protection ng PVP, so for the trees and vines, so 25 years from the date of grant of the certificate of plant variety, while for the other types of plants, 20 years from the date of grant of the certificate. So medyo iba siya sa patent at saka sa and or this other IPs kasi ito is nag-start yung protection niya after the grant or date of grant, while yung iba naman is from the date of filing pa lang. Ayan. So again, so it is the Republic Act 9168, and it is to an act to provide protection to new varieties, establishing a national plant variety protection board and for other purposes. And the Plant Variety Protection Office or the PVPO was created through this act. Ayan, so the PVPO, yan. So it is under the Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Plant Industry, or the DAPPI, and it functions to receive and conduct examination of applications for plant variety protection. And of course, it receives kung meron ng mga petitions for compulsory license. Ayan. And also to maintain a systematic record of all certificates of plant variety protection. So yung mga database wherein yung mga registered or yung mga certificates with plant variety protection. And of course, yung mga samples of the propagating materials of the protected varieties. Ayan. So, holders of a certificate of plant variety protection shall have the right to authorize any of the following acts. So, first is the production or reproduction of that specific variety, the conditioning for the purpose of propagation, offering for sale, selling or marketing, exporting, importing, stocking for any purpose mentioned above. So here is an example of UPLB developed plant variety, the Sinta papaya. So it is the first Philippine-bred hybrid papaya. And as you can, or as we can see, so the storage life is from 7 to 10 days. And it is moderately tolerant to papaya ring spot virus. So merong improvement na nagawa dun sa Sinta papaya. And other one is the Asunta tomato. So it has a small to medium plum fruits, and it is highly acceptable and its yield performance is excellent. Also, it is a heat-tolerant all-season tomato. Ayan. So again, there is a development for that or for this specific variety. So, ayan. So let's proceed naman with the technology transfer and the UP intellectual property rights policy. So what is technology transfer naman? So it is a transfer, or it is the formal and informal transfer of skills, technical knowledge, or technology from public research organizations to industry. So usually it is a transfer of technology, usually from research institutions to the industry or other external holders. So here in the Philippines, the process of technology transfer is governed by the Technology Transfer Act of 2009, or the RA 10055, which this act aims to promote and facilitate the transfer, the dissemination, and effective use, management, commercialization of intellectual property, technology, and knowledge resulting from research and development, which are usually funded by the government for the benefit of the Filipino people. Ayan. So here is the Tech Transfer Act, as I've mentioned earlier. So also, yung the Technology Transfer Act also comprises, or it has also the application of a process or rendering of a service which may involve transfer, assignment, or licensing or of intellectual properties. Ayan. So here is an overview of technology transfer pathway. So we usually start with the research and development. So we identify, or our scientists identify specific problem. Then we try to, or they try to identify a technical solution. And once nag-start na, so usually yung research and development, so this usually happens in the laboratory. So meron tayong mga bench scale, lab scale, so even large scale, diba? So next will be the technology disclosure. So once that there is, or the product or the process being studied by our scientists are capable of doing something industrially applicable, it is new or inventive, then technology disclosure can be done here in the Technology Transfer Office, wherein the technology will be assessed through prior art searching, and the next will be the IP protection. So IP protection will be done by also the Technology Transfer Office. So we will identify what are the possible IPs that we can file in order to get the maximum protection for our technology. So usually, we also help our business development unit and the commercialization unit assist or guide our researchers for the market and validation value of our technology. So meron nga bang market potential yung technology natin? Kasi baka naman mamaya, we want to protect it for 20 years, but meron nga bang commercial potential? And so it is also one of the function of the UPLB TTBDO, the market study and validation. And once we identify the market potential of our technology, then we will try to pitch to the investors yung technology natin. So we will try to get the potential industry that can help us or our technology to reach the target end users for the access of the public. Then once finalized the inventors, then we will start negotiating and licensing through licensing agreements. So we will identify through ano ba yung ila-license, what specific product or process, how long are we gonna do the licensing. So meron tayong mga considerations na kailangan i-check before our product undergo licensing agreements, and also to proceed to the commercialization, diba? And of course, once our product enters the commercialization part or process, we will continue it and we will continue to monitor it, diba? So yung trend ng technologies, yung trend or yung market trend ng technology or product na nag-undergo dun sa commercialization process. So we will monitor it. Ayan. So why the technology transfer is important? So why do we need to transfer developed technologies? So this promotes innovation that boosts productivity and economic development. And the challenge is to generate a systematic process of transferring skills and knowledge from research organizations to private industry to maximize the contribution of public investments in the research and innovation for economic growth. Yeah. So the basic idea kasi of in conducting research is to address the changing needs and challenges that our society or community faces. So the solutions we offer also need to be dynamic and innovative. So through the technology transfer, we can be able to get these solutions from research and development into usable industrial scale, which of course will eventually reach its intended user. So usually, di ba, nasa stop tayo sa research and development. So it is, that's why we have the Technology Transfer Act. So we want to eventually reach our research or a specific, that specific solution to its intended user. Diba? So for example, yung mga bio or microbial fertilizers natin, so of course, we want our farmers or we want to reach our farmers, diba? So para makatulong sa kanila. Ayan. So this will also lead to the economic development through offering diverse products and services and also job generation. Ayan. So usually, yung main challenge in tech transfer is house of the process. Paano nga ba? Diba? So we already have the process, we already have the product, but paano natin ma-reach yung intended users? And this is where the Technology Transfer Office comes in. So the Technology Transfer Office will serve as the bridge that needs of the the bridge between the needs of external holders and the Research and Development Institute. So for this to happen, of course, we must establish collaborations and agreements. Next. So these are some technology transfer mechanisms. So first, yung mga scientific publications. So yung mga journal publications po na ginagawa natin. So this is a mechanism of technology transfer, joint research partnerships, mga collaborative partnerships, seminars, conferences that you are attending, you are joining like mga posters, yung mga papers, di ba? Yung mga articles, education and training, personal contacts. So even personal contacts, like yung mga discussion between industry, for example, and research institute. So it's a tech transfer mechanism too, and technology commercialization. Ayan. Ayan. So what are the commercialization pathways? So one example is a spin-off company. So it is an entity that is an independent business technology taker with a separate legal personality from the government funding agency through the initiative of the researcher employee who generated the technology or the invention. So usually yung owner ng spin-off company is the researcher of the invention. So gumagawa po sila ng company and they will be the one who will license the or their invention. And so, ito pala. Licensing, so it is a mode of technology transfer whereby one party systematically transfer to another the knowledge for the manufacture of a product, the application of a process, or rendering of a service. So dito po usually, we try to identify an industry partner that can help us to upscale or kasi di ba we don't have, as a university kasi, that we cannot provide that maximum requirement of our target users. That's why we are trying to get an industry partner to increase yung sa paggawa or sa like yung mga production, yung sa pagmamanufacture ng ating invention that will be enough to provide yung mga intended users natin, yung mga target users natin. So that's through licensing agreements. And this usually is around 5 or 10 years. And of course, you also have the sales of the technology or the IPRs. So this is when a private or an individual entity will buy out the intellectual property rights. So you are selling the rights. You are selling the exclusive rights, diba? As an inventor. Ayan. So let's try to have an example. So yung Nutrio, so it is a naturally derived foliar fertilizer. Ayan, so for eggplant and sugarcane. So its unique value proposition, of course, is to promote long-term land sustainability and mitigate the use of chemical fertilizers. This also obtain a higher increase in yield of Filipino farmers and of course achieve sustainable agriculture. So let's see its timeline or the historical account of its intellectual property. So in 2017, it was the filing of the patent of Nutrio. 2018, so the licensing agreement happened with UPLB, the first licensing. So it doesn't have to have a grant before you have an agreement. So as long as we filed for protection, so it is the first to file rule, diba? So it is okay to undergo a licensing agreement if we don't have the grant yet. But yun nga, as long as we filed for protection. So 2021, so the patent was granted to Nutrio. And 2022, the issuance of the FPA registration and this year is the renewal of licensing agreement with UPLB. So, ayan. So here's also just to show you the commercial viability. So just to show you the potential earnings and the operating expenses of the Nutrio. So, okay. So, ayan. So, I still have around 15 minutes siguro, no? So, 10 to 15 minutes to discuss the UP-IPR policy of 2011, di ba? So, bakit nga ba? So, we all have this technology transfer, IPs and all. Di ba? So, anong connected? Or so, what is the connection of these things sa UP-IPR policy of 2011? So, it is the creation of the Technology Transfer and Business Development Office, which implement the rules of the Technology Licensing Office, of course. And ayan. Next. Okay. So this is the one I want to discuss further. So the UPLB-TTBDO is a franchisee of Innovation and Technology Support Office, or ITSO, of the IPO field. So we are accredited here in UPLB. So UPLB-TTBDO is accredited as an ITSO franchisee. The ITSO network is committed to providing affordable quality patent information and IP services to universities, research institutions, businesses, and inventors throughout all regions of the Philippines to support research and development, which will have a positive social, economic, technological, and environmental impact on the in the Philippines. So we want to provide assistance, or we cater our university constituents, especially our researchers, our staff, faculty, and scientists, or even our students, di ba, to check and to protect their creation. So, ayan. So, we provide all these patent information and IP services. So, here in TTBDO, we have the Intellectual Property Unit, who can help for the IP application. We have the Commercialization Unit, who can provide this on the technological or technology licensing agreements, the business development units, to help or to forge partnerships in different industry partners, and also promotions unit that we can try to promote or the branding of the UPLB products. Ayan. So, ayan. So, how does the UP-IPR of 2011 relates to this? And so since we all know, we already have an idea that IP so refers to the creation of a human mind or intellect, which has a tangible representation. And to have an IP, then you can gain exclusive or the intellectual property rights. So these are legally secured rights given to the inventors, which you can benefit from your work or invention. So for the UP-IPR policy, so who are the personnel covered in this policy? So all members, the faculty members, researchers, students, staff, and visiting professors that undertake research or creative activities here in our universities. Okay. So what are the matters covered? So of course, all the research and all creative activities, tangible research properties or outputs with or without patent or copyright protection, whether for commercial or non-commercial purpose, using any university resource. Okay, so as long as it is part of our duties and responsibilities as a university constituent, then we are covered, or all our works are owned by the university, and it is covered under the UP-IPR policy. And the rights covered is that all types of intellectual property rights recognized under Philippine laws. So these laws are the IP IP Code RA 2893 and the Plant Variety Protection Act or the RA 9168. And of course, the general rule natin is all works shall remain with the creator or inventor except to this or to the following. So, these are the exception to the rule. So, works that are produced through research and development that are funded by the Philippine government agency or instrumentality, government-owned and controlled corporation from government appropriations, and those sources from government-managed official development assistance funds. Also, if your works are supported by a specific allocation of university funds and university resources, and lastly, commissioned works for a specific project or purpose. Okay, so parang kumbaga as long as nandito tayo sa university and you are using university resources and it's part of our job, then the owner of the IPs is the university. Okay, so for the students naman, like for thesis and dissertation, so the student shall own the copyright of his or her thesis or dissertation subject to the provisions of applicable laws. So it depends po on the if the student or if it is part of the project of the advisor or if it is a program, then usually it is a university-owned work or it is a university-owned creation. But if the student is, it is the student's idea, so usually po is we give the ownership to the student. So nagwe-waive po ng rights ang university regarding dito. But yun nga, so in order to enable the university to perform its mission of transferring knowledge and technology for the public benefit, the student shall grant to the university a non-exclusive worldwide, royalty-free license to reproduce or publish and publicly distribute copies. If napanood niyo po yung video kanina about the IPs, so kasali po ito doon. Ayan. So for the access of public knowledge. Ayan, so next is for the thesis or if ever naman that the thesis will contain the information which can be protected by IPs, so the institute or college or even the department can withhold the public access to the said dissertation. So, of course, here we here in the Technology Transfer Office will assess the possible IP ng mga works ng ating mga students. So here, just to give you an idea, kasi nagkakaroon po tayo ng misconception on the inventorship and ownership. So there are maybe some people like from other university, for example, siguro that ayokong i-disclose, I don't want to disclose it to the university because this is my own work, right? So let us all remember that as long as it is part of our job, it is part of our responsibility, then the owner of the technology remains to the university. So the ownership will be UPLB, while the inventorship will be retained to the inventors. And for the royalty sharing naman po, if papasok na po sa commercialization yung ating technology, then the 40% of the gross sales will go to the author or the inventors. So yun po yung use, that's why we have the royalty sharing scheme form, while the 60% will go to the university. And you can check or you will see that there will be 15% to UPLB TVDO, for example, that we use this for the maintenance of the IPs and also yung mga required publication fees and other examination fees required for the IP application of the technologies. Yan. And of course, yung first 200,000 po na makukuha natin from commercialization or for the commercializing our product will be given solely to the inventors. So siguro pasadaan ko na lang po yung guidelines on the use of UP marks and landmarks. So let us all remember po as university constituents, no person may use, manufacture, produce, offer to sell, and sell the icons, symbols, and trade and service marks of UP without the consent or permission from UP. So hindi po natin basta-basta pwedeng gamitin yung mga UP marks and landmarks. So, unauthorized production and commercialization of any item bearing UP trademarks are strictly prohibited. So, hindi po tayo pwede basta-basta gumamit ng registered UP trademarks. But, pwede po kayong gumamit as long as you will apply or you will get permission to use or license these UP trademarks with or from the UPLB-TTBDO. So dito po sa office namin. So one example is the seal. Of course, so ayan, so we cannot withdraw yung ating UP seal. Ayan. So meron po tayong guidelines na sinusunod for this one. So you may access yung digital version through the UPLB OPR or dito po sa amin, UPLB TTBDO. Yan. So ito po, so para sa for everyone's information, so we have this logo of the UPLB logo. Ito. Yung may Universidad ng Pilipinas, Los Baños. Okay, so hindi na po natin ginagamit itong nasa left. Yan. So, of course, colors, I think we are all familiar with the use of maroon as the primary color, the forest green as the complementary color, the gold, so as an accent color and provides the definition to the details and main sections of the seal. Ayan, so spot block which is used for the logo guide. Ayan. So ito, di ba? So isa sa pinakakilalang symbols ng UP oblation. So oblation is an image that has historical narrative significance and demands respect in terms of usage and visibility. Ayan. So kung ano po yung makikita nyo dito, so this is the right way on how to use UP oblation. So you cannot put any text po kay oblation, hindi nyo po siya pwede, hindi po natin siya pwedeng putulin. So yung pedestal niya, ganito po talaga siya, ganito natin siya gagamitin. Okay? So here is the quality control in the use of UP marks. So meron po tayong guidelines on how to properly use our UP marks. So you can use this UP Visual Identity Guidebook. Ayan. So available po ito online. So if meron po tayong mga organizations dito, mga student organizations, or even yung mga institute or departments that you're gonna use UPLB logos or other UPLB trademarks, you can use this guidebook po, and kindly send a request letter or a permission to UPLB TTBDO. Ayan. So hindi naman po madamot ang UPLB. Ayan. So we have a due process in using these registered UP marks. Okay, so we would like to share the guidelines on the use of UP marks and landmarks. So again, yung permission must be obtained from the UPLB TTBDO. So we have application forms available, or you can just email us. So sumasagot naman po kami sa queries, especially yan sa use of UP marks. And here, I'm sorry. Ayan, ito po. So we have for UPLB students, organizations, colleges and units and staff. We also have mga for alumni associations or foundations, and even for non-UPLB applicants. So we have forms for that. And here are the UP trademarks and symbols and also UPLB landmarks na kailangan po na before nyo po gamitin, you have to ask permission first. Okay? So kapag po na may nakikita kayo, so if personal use naman po, then it's totally fine. But if you will be using it for commercial purposes, you will be selling it, then it is not, or you are not authorized po to sell this ano ba, yung mga gamit, these things or materials na ginawa nyo using these UP trademarks or landmarks. Ayun. So I think that's all po for this afternoon. So thank you for listening for the part 2 of the webinar series and also for the technology transfer and the UP IPR policy. So thank you po everyone for listening.
Yeah, thank you po, Ms. Mel, for such a insightful discussion on inventions, technology transfer, and UP IPR policy. I hope madaming natutunan ng ating participants this afternoon. Now, we are nearing the end of our program. We will proceed to the Q&A portion. For those who have questions, you may type it in our chat box publicly or send it via PM. Ayan, meron ba tayong question dito? Pwede po ba akong mag-file ng utility model and patent ng sabay to make sure na ma-approve yung IP application ko?
Ayan, so let us always remember and also siguro to share na din to our participants that we cannot file one invention for 2 IP applications. So isa lang po yung pwede natin i-apply and hindi po tayo pwedeng mag-apply. We cannot file for patent or utility model at the same time. So here at TTBTO, so we assess your invention and we always try to get the maximum validity of protection for our works here in the university and we try to file it for patent. Diba? So usually naman po that we file for patent, then usually po depende po sa examiner, sa IPOPHIL, if it is covered or talagang pasok siya for patentability, then we will proceed with the patent application or patent examination. But if naman nakita naman po ni examiner that it is already a body of existing knowledge, then nagre-request po or sinasabi ni examiner that they will be downgrading our application to utility model. Ayun, I hope na answer po yung question.
Po, Ms. Mel. Sa mga Facebook viewers po natin, meron po ba kayong tanong? Ayan, ito po, next question. Ano po ang mga requirements kapag mag-a-apply ng patent or utility model? Magkano po kaya ang babayaran upon filing or registration?
Okay, so for the requirements for the application for patent or utility model, so we encourage our scientists, researchers, or even students that we file for IP protection if meron na tayong application or kumbaga na-test na natin sa lab yung ating invention. And if meron na, then we will be asking for the invention disclosure form wherein nandun po or dun madidiscuss ng buo yung technology natin. So yung description, yung technical background ng ating invention. So kung meron kayong mga existing publications, so hihingin din po namin. So if meron kayong mga technical reports, and ayun, so one is the invention disclosure form. Pangalawa po is yung deed of assignment, yung na-discuss ko kanina, and the royalty sharing form. And after po nito, so papasok po tayo ng prior art searching, and then assessment, then patent drafting. Then we will be endorsing this to the Office of the Chancellor, and then we will file it for IP application sa IPOFIL. And for the fees naman po, so though the TTBDO will shoulder the cost for the IP application until the maintenance, usually yung IP application kasi meron tayong filing fee, usually around 2,000 pesos. Merong publication fee, merong legal fund, and depende din po pala yung sa mga claims. So if more than 5 yung claim, so meron tayong mga additional cost kapag medyo madaming claims. So usually range siya around like 2,500 to 3,500 per filing na per invention.
Ito po, last question. Pwede ko po bang i-protect yung invention ko worldwide?
Okay. Sige. Okay, so there is no such thing as international patent. So if nag-file po tayo, for example, here in the Philippines, our invention or our work is only protected here in the Philippines. So if gusto po natin i-protect yung ating invention in many parts or in many countries, then we can file through the Patent Cooperation Treaty, wherein the Philippines is part of that treaty. So in that po, we can choose the countries na gusto natin i-protect yung technology natin. So ayun po. So we don't have international patent, but we can protect our technology in different countries through Patent Cooperation Treaty.
I think wala na pong question. And to officially close the first session po of this webinar series, may I call on Dr. Lilia Fernando Corpus for the closing message.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you kina Elena at kay Mel, our speaker for today, si Mel. For all our attendees, thank you then for attending or participating in our 2-day webinar on intellectual property. I hope you were able to get some knowledge at least on the basics of intellectual property. Patents, copyright, trademarks, utility model. So, yayaman po kayo sa inyong intellectual property. So, ang ating mga students, research staff, faculty, if you need help on filing patents or kahit inquiry about intellectual property, please feel free to contact us sa Dean's Office ng CAPS or directly through TTBDO. So we can facilitate and help you in your intellectual property needs. So tignan din po natin na magkaroon pa ng continuous partnership with our UPLB TTBDO para makapag-serve pa tayo sa ating constituents in terms of tech transfer and commercialization. So we need this, yung intellectual property. Hindi naman lahat kailangan nating i-file, but for those na talagang tingin nyo, kailangan nating maprotektahan ang ating intellectual property or mga technologies natin to be transferred to the industry, then kailangan po talaga nating mag-file. And we're thankful sa university for the support sa ating commercialization. So again, thank you, and I hope you were able to learn something new. I hope naman meron talaga from this 2-day webinar. Okay, thank you.
Thank you po, Ma'am Lilia. And that concludes our webinar po. Thank you po sa ating mga participants for joining us. May I also remind everyone to answer the attendance sheet on the local event, and don't forget to answer the feedback form to have your certificate. Lamang po. Thank you po sa lahat.
UPLB students, know your intellectual property rights. Intellectual property refers to any creation of the human mind. Being UPLB students, you will definitely be on track in making your ideas work and become realities. It is therefore important to know that you, as well as the university, have rights that cover ownership of intellectual property. These intellectual property rights include copyright and related rights, trade and service marks, geographical indications, industrial designs, patents, layout designs or topographies of integrated circuit, protection of undisclosed information or trade secret, utility models, and others. In this presentation, you will be oriented on some rules that you should take to heart during your stay in the university. Students' theses and dissertations. A UPLB student should be aware that there are guidelines that govern these rights, as applied to their thesis and dissertations. For example, a student owns the copyright to his or her thesis or dissertation. The student also automatically grants UP a non-exclusive, worldwide, royalty-free copyright license to reproduce, publish, and publicly distribute copies of theses or dissertation. Students, nonetheless, may request the non-disclosure and withholding of access to his or her thesis or dissertation if he or she will file applications for patent and protection of other IPRs related to the thesis or dissertation. The college, department, institute may also withhold public access to thesis or dissertation and the defense proceedings if the thesis or dissertation contains confidential and/or proprietary information on a patentable or registrable invention. In connection with these, thesis or dissertation of students now includes a one-page notice to UP libraries which contain instructions on whether the thesis or dissertation can be made accessible to the public or not. Copyright infringement and plagiarism. Students should exercise in due diligence then in accomplishing their academic requirements. Infringing copyrights is a criminal offense punishable by imprisonment, fines, or both. Make sure that when you use other written works, it is done fairly, meaning you use other works either for private, non-profit, academic and research, or information purposes. Never commit intellectual dishonesty. Always attribute and cite the use of other published works. Plagiarism in UPLB is an administrative disciplinary offense and can be punished by dismissal, expulsion from UPLB, or the withdrawal of a previously granted diploma. Intellectual dishonesty spells academic death. Proper use of registered UP trademarks. Always be mindful in using UP registered trademarks during your stay in the university. For example, the name University of the Philippines, the official logo of the University of the Philippines, the oblation, or any derivative of these marks are registered trademarks of the University of the Philippines. UP actively prosecutes any person or entity who commercially uses these trademarks without any licensing agreement duly approved by the university. Permits to commercially use UP registered trademarks can be obtained from the UPLB Center for Technology Transfer and Entrepreneurship or CTTE. Among the other requirements are request form, certificate of recognition as a UP student organization, duly approved constitution of the organization, list of officers and faculty advisor, photocopy of student ID of the applicant or contact person, studies of design of merchandise to be licensed. For more information, please contact UPLB Center for Technology Transfer and Entrepreneurship, 2nd floor, UPLB CTTE Building, Science and Technology Park, College, Laguna 4031. Know your intellectual property rights. Intellectual property refers to any creation of the human mind. Being UPLB students, you will definitely be on track in making your ideas work and become realities. It is therefore important to know that you, as well as the university, have rights that cover ownership of intellectual property. These intellectual property rights include copyright and related rights, trade and service marks, geographical indications, industrial designs, patents, layout designs or topographies of integrated circuit, protection of undisclosed information or trade secret, utility models, and others. In this presentation, you will be oriented on some rules that you should take to heart during your stay in the university. Students' theses and dissertations. A UPLB student should be aware that there are guidelines that govern these rights, as applied to their thesis and dissertations. For example, a student owns the copyright to his or her thesis or dissertation. The student also automatically grants UP a non-exclusive, worldwide, royalty-free copyright license to reproduce, publish, and publicly distribute copies of thesis or dissertation. Students, nonetheless, may request the non-disclosure and withholding of access to his or her thesis or dissertation if he or she will file applications for patent and protection of other IPRs related to the thesis or dissertation. The college, department, institute may also withhold public access to thesis or dissertation and the defense proceedings if the thesis or dissertation contains confidential and/or proprietary information on a patentable or registrable invention. In connection with these, thesis or dissertation of students now includes a one-page notice to UP libraries which contain instructions on whether the thesis or dissertation can be made accessible to the public or not. Copyright infringement and plagiarism. Students should exercise in due diligence then in accomplishing their academic requirements. Infringing copyrights is a criminal offense punishable by imprisonment, fines, or both. Make sure that when you use other written works, it is done fairly, meaning you use other works either for private, non-profit, academic and research, or information purposes. Never commit intellectual dishonesty. Always attribute and cite the use of other published works. Plagiarism in UPLB is an administrative disciplinary offense and can be punished by dismissal, expulsion from UPLB, or the withdrawal of a previously granted diploma. Intellectual dishonesty spells academic death. Proper use of registered UP trademarks. Always be mindful in using UP registered trademarks during your stay in the university. For example, the name University of the Philippines, the official logo of the University of the Philippines, the oblation, or any derivative of these marks are registered trademarks of the University of the Philippines. UP actively prosecutes any person or entity who commercially uses these trademarks without any licensing agreement duly approved by the university. Permits to commercially use UP registered trademarks can be obtained from the UPLB Center for Technology Transfer and Entrepreneurship or CTTE. Among the other requirements are request form, Certificate of Recognition as a UP Student Organization, duly approved Constitution of the organization, list of officers and faculty advisor, photocopy of student ID of the applicant or contact person, studies of design of merchandise to be licensed. For more information, please contact UPLB Center for Technology Transfer and Entrepreneurship, 2nd floor, UPLB CTTE Building, Science and Technology Park, College, Laguna 4031.